Hey everybody, this is Dr.J, Kamal, and Spike streaming live from Long Island, New York, where we're still kind of happy, but the euphoria from Friday has dimmed a little bit due to Jay Powell's words of wisdom on 60 Minutes.
Yep.
How depressing that he is letting the whole world in on his plans when we were the only ones who knew and
Exactly.
before the 60 Minutes.
Now everybody knows.
Now everybody knows. It's no secret that they're not going to raise in March, lower in
Right.
March, and
They're not going to lower in March, and banks are still
probably
something to worry
probably
about.
only going to lower maybe 3, 4 times the most, right?
Not six. Well, it was 6 times 25, or a point and a half down. So maybe it'll be 3 times 50. So who cares?
Yeah, if that's the case, that's true. Curtis is with us so far today, and in terms of biotech, I wanted to look at two favorites, old favorites, CRISPR and sava.
Okay.
But in tech, I want to concentrate on NVIDIA and SMCI. Of course, NVIDIA had the upgrade today from Goldman. So
Upgrading the upgrade.
upgrading the upgrade. So they upped the target price to even 800. So it celebrated today by going straight up like an arrow to close to 700.
Hmm.
Yeah. No matter what target you make, when it reaches the
Yeah.
target, they come up with a higher target.
Here at
Why,
the Maj, I sold
why
some of it at
don't we
380.
no, Professor Spike, come on. Why don't we just round it out, round it off to 1,000 even for NVIDIA? One target, 1,000, and we don't
1,000.
and we don't have to keep raising. Curtis likes Elf, which has earnings tomorrow. What something had earnings today? I forget what. One of my stocks, was it IonQ? Can't remember. One of them. One of my more minor holdings. My major holding, Amazon, I lost some shares on Friday
Oh, that's right. You had a trim.
because I wrote the 165s and it was in the money, so I had to sell at 165. Now I think it's 169 Amazon, something like that. We'll take a look.
Right.
So 169, I'm down 200 per option that I wrote at this point because I got 200. So that brings it to 167, right? My strike. I'm actually down 200
Hmm.
per 100. It's not that bad. Nvidia, yes, Curtis, it keeps on going. Yeah.
Yeah, NVIDIA.
Yeah, NVIDIA is the gift that keeps giving. That's if you own it. If you own it, right? I think I keep saying on this show that everyone should own some NVIDIA and probably some SMCI. And if you take profits along the way, fine, but keep some. We were just discussing that before the show, right, Kamal?
Yep.
Kamal owned a lot of NVIDIA and he took all his profits, not leaving a little. Leave a
Yeah.
little on the table.
I should have.
Yeah.
Oh, what did it say? When the stock doubles, cut your holdings in half.
Yeah, that's some people like to think that way. I don't because you got to be greedy. You got to water your winners and cut your losers, right?
You
I
do?
I
Yeah.
do. I stick with my
We
winners.
hold our
Hey,
losers.
Pete.
Sometimes
Yeah, right. We hold them till they grind us out.
well,
Speaking of CVM.
Pete is with us.
Oh,
You know,
ATHX. I'm sorry.
Pete takes an artistic approach to stock selection. Pete is an artist.
Yes.
So I got to ask Pete what he thought of the Grammys last night. Pete, we need a Grammys opinion. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing. Miley Cyrus skimped on clothing. She can't
Yeah, no, she doesn't. She doesn't spend a lot of money on that.
she can't afford a whole dress. Maybe we have to do a collection for her. Spike, we lost your picture.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that.
I mentioned Miley Cyrus, and you cut your picture. Well, I don't know if it's.
You see what happens? I don't know how that happened.
I don't know how that happened either. But the image of Miley doing the bump and grind last night is too much for you, I guess.
It's too much for my camera anyway. Well, maybe
Yeah.
that's some sort of setting.
I mean that had to be the highlight of the whole Grammy Award show. Of course, Taylor coming in fashionably late. That was
That was
also
pretty funny.
one of the highlights. Yeah. Billy Joel making a comeback. Well, I shouldn't say a comeback. He never really went away.
Yeah, he's always been doing his shows.
Yeah. All right, so let's get down to real business. Enough with the Grammys. I mean, we got to think about the market. Is it going to grind higher to 5,000 something or other, or did we see the top and are we going to do a little 3 to 5% correction here? You know,
Oh, it is March.
well, February was a bad month last year and tends to be a bad month occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally. So, let's take a look at the charts and what that tells us. Are you working on getting back in, Spike?
I am, but
Well, you could go out.
Can you see us? Can you see us, Spike?
oh, yeah, I can see fine. I guess when you show the charts, you're not going to show me anyway. So as long as I'm still piping in, I'll be all right.
Well, okay. Whatever. We're not getting paid for this, so what difference does it make?
It changes my scale.
We do this because we love our viewers, we love our subscribers, and we want to share the great information that we have with them. Isn't that why we do this? We got to come up with we have to come up with an idealistic type reason. Idealistically and otherwise, the spiders have been in a beautiful channel. It's a thing of beauty to see a channel like this. As we rose from the lows of 2022, really, but October 2023 put in a low at 409, and we've risen nicely through that 25%. So we had a 25% move up from October. That's phenomenal, isn't it?
Yep.
Phenomenal. Really, from October 27th, not even October, November, December, January, 3 months. This whole move, 25% up, 3 months. You can't beat that. I'll take that. Tremendous move, and we're well within the channel. We're at the upper end of the channel. If we pull back to 482 area, that would be touching the lower trend line in the channel. So I like that as a first line of defense. Should we drop from here? Second line of defense, 478 area. And then we go down to this area at 469. And finally, very nice support at 466. So we have a lot of areas of support. I think we're primed to go higher despite Chairman Jay Powell, who's doing his best to curtail the upward direction of this market.
Right, the irrational exuberance.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. I don't think these guys like when the stock market goes up. Most of them own bonds. What do you think Chairman Powell owns in his own portfolio?
Oh yeah,
probably treasuries. That's my guess. And Janet Yellen,
walking the talk.
They're very conservative, most of them. All right. So is it the time to buy? I'm not sure it's the time to buy right here, which is a top basically that we're at. But I would buy any dip of 3 to 5%. So my feelings are buy the dips, maybe buy a little at 482 if it comes back down. So not to be afraid. Our opinions are strictly our own, not investment advice. But this 466 area looks like excellent support. So I think there's quite all right to buy any dip. If we go below that, then I'd be thinking otherwise. But we also have support right at the 50, 472. We got a lot of areas of support below where we're trading. And the most significant support level is the lower trend line. Every time it comes near that, it starts going up again. It's been a phenomenal move up. I think it continues. I'm looking at 530 to 550 before we get a more substantial correction, other than more than 3 to 5%. So probably what did we figure? I think I said 550 was most likely target.
You were saying by the end of the year, it was a question of what was going to happen first.
I looked at the low of October 22, which was 350, 348. And the old high that we just took out at 480. So that was a total of 160 points. 160 divided by 2 was it 160 or 170?
For you, it was about 20%.
No, I'm doing 480. 480 take away 350 is 130. So 65 would be about half. 65 plus 480 would be about 545. Yeah, 550. That's my target. Roughly 550, 545. I think we get up there, and before we get any meaningful dip down, and if we get 10% off of that, that's really nothing. That would
Right.
take us back to 500. So I'm talking about like maybe we're in for a 20% correction at that point, 90 to 460. Well, maybe to this 466 area. So from 550 to 466 would be pretty much a nice correction. That's what I see happening. The odds of an actual crash down to where Professor Omar's talking, I think are still rather high. I don't think we're going to get that crash. Eventually, I do think we're susceptible, but not in my crystal ball doesn't see anything in the near future like that. Of course, the banks could trigger it. Some black swan event in the Red Sea could trigger it, right?
Right.
But unlikely. I think we continue on up with minor corrections along the way. To get back to 350 or Professor Omar's 340 is a target. I think that would be in the crash category. And
Yeah, it does seem a bit far-fetched at this point.
yeah, I don't see it yet, but maybe with further, if we get a second round of inflation, which the economy keeps humming along, a second round of inflation could trigger all pretty bad problems. Or if we go into a strong deflation, that could trigger problems. But for now, we're like in a Goldilocks, scenario. So I don't see the crash, at least not yet. I'll let you know when I think it's more plausible, because I do think eventually we get a pretty bad crash. Just from what level, I'm not sure. Probably that 530 to 550 is good, that area.
Right.
I think that's good. After that,
It's a healthy breather.
we'll reassess. So SPY, let's go on to Q. No, let's skip Qs.
IWM.
Qs look actually better than the SPY.
Yeah, there's been talk that the broader market, it's just that the Magnificent Seven is clouding everything out, and that the broader market is showing a little more fragility than these other indexes. So if you look at the IWM,
That's another thing.
take a little bit of a hit.
From a technical point of view, I think we're not going to get that crash until the IWM makes a new high.
Really? Okay.
That's my opinion. What's going
Yeah, 'cause
on?
I'm looking. The Russell dropped 1% today.
4?
1.
That's significant.
1%.
Or 1%. I thought you said.
Yeah, 1%. I don't know what IWM did. IWM dropped a little bit more than that.
4 would have scared me, no question.
No, not 4. I mean, the IWM for a little while went back down to 190. Now it's around 192. So
You know what I think is happening to Bitcoin? Remember back here, back in what is it, 9/11, the month of September, July, or at least August and September and October, I think. Yeah. There was a period of 3 months that Bitcoin was in a very narrow trading range. I think we're heading back into something like that. If you see the actually it was from 8/16, middle of August, until 10/13, middle of October. So September, 2 months. I think we're going to have something like that now with a real boring Bitcoin that moves narrowly over the next 2 months until we get that April. That coincides with the April halving that's going to occur. For all those who don't know what that is, how do we explain the April halving? You want to give it a shot, Kamal?
No, I just
No. All right, I'll explain it.
listening today.
The algorithm for the miners to mine the Bitcoin is programmed to produce half as many Bitcoins as the previous 4 years. So the next 4 years, going from April of this year through April of 28, we'll see half the number of Bitcoins mined as we did in the previous 4 years. Did I do a good job explaining it? I hope so.
yes.
So sometimes I don't explain things well, and I call.
Oh, the reason they're being mined is because that's what creates the blocks for the blockchain.
Yeah, that's
the process. The blocks in the blockchain get created through this process, and the reward for this process goes down by a half every couple of months.
No, every 4 years.
Every 4 years, okay.
Every 4 years. Now I'm not sure.
The methodologies appear to be better because of Moore's law.
I'm not sure.
Work.
I'm not sure how that works, honestly. Whether it's a continuous decline or the algorithm produces roughly the same amount per month over those 4 years.
Right.
That I'm not certain. I think it's more or less the continuous, not a continuous decline. I think it's
discrete.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think it is. But this is where I think we're going to trade between. I think we're going to trade in the narrow trading range from this 42,000 area to 42 to 43, 44, let's say. 42 to 44 on Bitcoin. Maybe move this up a little bit. Yeah, that looks like the trading range to me over the next maybe couple of months. See if I'm right till we hit the halving, and then I expect to move up on Bitcoin. So if you're into Bitcoin, you could accumulate a little, be a little patient here. I think we have excellent support at the 100, really good support down here at 38,500. I would be surprised if we drop below that. If we do, then we're heading much lower, like to 36.3. I don't think so, but anything is possible. I think Bitcoin is, with the ETFs, makes it a much easier vehicle to buy Bitcoin. I think it will have the positive effect that people were thinking it would have, even though it went in reverse the day of the ETF announcement, right? The day that they went live is the day that Bitcoin topped, which figures. It's
Yep.
always like that. Sell the news, right? It's always like that. All right. So what stock do you want to play besides the 11 the 11 the 11 ETFs? I own IBIT, but that's the BlackRock ETF. But you can also own MicroStrategy. It's a very leveraged way of playing Bitcoin. I think it tends in the past it's gone up, not double, but 1.5 times as much as Bitcoin. And unfortunately moves down more as well when on a down market. So if you want to play a little more leverage, I like MicroStrategy. It's dropped below where I would have liked to see it stop. I have a very narrow channel that I think it has to basically hold this channel line. Right now, it's at the bottom of it. Let's see where it's going. So I think we could be at the bottom of Bitcoin for a while. Does that coincide with my other chart of Bitcoin? With I forgot already. Bitcoin. Let me just put that chart back. Yeah, we're at the lower end of my lower range of my channel in Bitcoin, so that pretty much coincides. I think MicroStrategy you can accumulate, Bitcoin you can accumulate. The miners, I like the miners, but less so because I think that they're going to be negatively affected by the halving. Shouldn't they? Isn't
One
that
with
isn't that common sense, or is it too obvious?
well, I mean, the whole idea is that it's supposed to be easier for them to make the money. So,
No,
because,
they're going to produce for the same kilowatt hour of.
oh well, we're not talking about kilowatt hours. We're talking about computing efficiency.
Yeah, but they're going to produce half as much for the
Right.
same cost. I would think that unless the price of Bitcoin doubles, they're going to lose money, right? To me, that's the way I look at it. I don't know if I'm not seeing something.
The efficiency of their algorithms is supposed to improve. That's part of the assumptions.
Okay. But then they'll mine more. But that's not the case. They're supposed to mine less. So I don't understand.
It just rewards less.
If the efficiency of their algorithm increases, wouldn't they be mining more, not less?
Right, but the reward for it stays constant. That's the whole point.
All right, you're confusing me. I'm going to stop.
Yes, they right. The reward is not the reward is not supposed to go up exponentially like Moore's law. The reward is supposed to stay somewhat constant.
Yeah, in order for that to happen, the price of Bitcoin would have to go up.
Okay.
In order for the reward to stay constant, because they're going to mine half as much. This is one of the miners. Notice it's at the bottom of its channel, whereas, yeah, MicroStrategy is as well. It's similar to MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, but it's come down a lot from a little bit more than the others have. I think it's basically more than half. It's high, right? Let's see, it's high, 3130 up here. Did it get to 15? I think it did. Let's see. On 110, it got to 1462. Now it's moved up to 1658 after hours. This might be a good place to nibble on Mara, as well as MicroStrategy, if you like the miners. And the other miner that we looked at was Wolf. I think Kamal went and bought some. Pete, I think, owns some. Let's see, take a quick peek at Wolf.
I
Wolf,
added some more today. 159, I think it was.
uh-huh. Wolf looks like it's going to fill this gap right in here, doesn't it? Looks like a gap fill at 152, which is
Yes,
pretty
it
close.
does.
Which is pretty close to where it's trading, and it's also synonymous with the 100-day moving average. So I'd look for good support just below where you bought it, Kamal. I'd say good support right here at the 100. The 100 would be 148. That would be a target, 148. Maybe add a little bit more. All right. Of course, our opinions are what? Strictly our own, not investment advice and all that stuff, right? Check with
Yep.
an advisor before acting, et cetera, et cetera. What else do we want to look at? We want to look at Sava. Sava is
Yeah, we might as well. Because
Sava is the hope for Alzheimer's patients.
Sava is a mystery inside of an enigma.
You know, there is no other hope near term. This is in my nearest term.
I know Anavex and Anovis both got tanked today.
I sold my Anovis. I still own a drop of a what do you call that?
Anavex.
But I do own a decent amount of Sava. I think Sava is a way to play, is the best Alzheimer's hope for Alzheimer's patients.
That and Lilly.
Lilly will come first, but I don't think the drug is as good.
So I'm noticing that the 100 and 200 are going to cross very soon.
Yeah, that's true. That's positive. We want to see that 100 positive cross with the 200. That would be very positive. I'm very bullish on this one. I think this is the one that could finally hit the jackpot for biotech players. There aren't many that look really promising to me in the whole universe of biotech. But Sava does, and it looks like an opportunity to buy right here. And if it hits the 200, even better, right? So you add a little here, and you add some more at 22, which is the 200. I think I actually am I intend to add on Sava. My intention is to add. Whether I actually do or not, I'm not sure. You know, don't hold me to it, but I think it would be adding to my Sava, at least a little. I may not go whole hog in, but I think I'm adding. This one is, despite all the short attacks, the one that looks like the most promise as an Alzheimer's drug that will actually potentially reverse cognitive decline. The only one that shows that ability, not just to halt it, but to reverse it. So I'm optimistic with this. And the side effects are much less than the side effects of the Biogen and even the Lilly drug, from everything I've read and heard. So Sava looks good to me. Technically, it looks like an opportunity to buy. You also, those of you who have the warrants, they come into play with the move to the 30s. They will. I think their strike price is 33 or 32. I don't remember.
Are we supposed to do something or just hold on to them?
Whatever you want, you can cash them in. So you could sell them at any time; they have value. Or you could wait till they get in the money and you sell it then, or convert it to shares. Do whatever you want. If you convert to shares now or before before the deadline that they announce to be announced, you get 1.5 shares for each warrant. If you wait till beyond the deadline, whatever that deadline is, you're going to get one for one. So if you own 100, you get 100. That if you exercise the warrant, you can trade the warrant or you can exercise it. Exercise it means you get it, you buy it at the strike. I should throw the warrant on the screen. SAVW. SAVAW. This is the warrant. It hasn't been trading that long, so that's why we have these big looking bars. It got up here as high as 11, and now we're trading at 7. Hey, 7-Eleven. Let's head to Atlantic City, 7-Eleven. Yeah, so should you keep it at 7 or sell it at 7? I'm keeping mine. I can only tell you what I'm doing. If you want to cash it, that's fine. It's up to you. What else? What else did I list? IBM?
Yeah, and what is FSLY?
That's I forget what they call it. What the name of that one is? It's a content provider. I know somebody who just got a job there. That's why I threw it up. Okay, so IBM is bottoming. The Professor Spike bottoming process at 183, right? Right where we.
Yeah, I know. It's the question is whether or not it's going to do any of a gap fill before it comes back up again.
It could if we get general market weakness, I would expect it. But if not, I think we may actually start moving up again from here and worry about the gap fill when the market crashes, right? Not every gap is closed also.
Right. Not every void is filled by nature.
Yeah. But yeah, most gaps are filled, unfortunately, but not everyone. I would be curious to know what the percentage was, what like in the S&P chart, what percentage of the gaps are filled. A high percent, but I don't know what it is.
It's good to know.
I think IBM is, you can buy a little here, and you're looking at probably, it's hard to put it, unfortunately, strong support isn't until.
Because there's a little gap. It's right there. Yeah.
Yeah, 167 is the strong support area. But there's support along the way. So 170, maybe 172. If it drops below where it's trading, it looks a little scary in the short term. It could pull back. There's nothing but this big gap. If it fills that, that's 10 points down from here. I would just add, because I just don't feel like selling. If anything, it's more of a buying opportunity as I think this level holds. If it doesn't hold, it's up to you whether you want to sell it and buy it back. So I don't like playing that game, but
Right.
some people routinely do that. SMCI and NVIDA.
Right. And then we should go at that point because we're
okay. SMCI is IBM's competitor in the server business and the data center business. So
parabolic. Can you say parabolic?
They of course are not. They don't have the micro market cap of an IBM. They're not a mature company, but they're killing everybody now. They hooked up with NVIDIA, and it's a stealth way of playing NVIDIA. Play this one with a forward PE much less than NVIDIA. And it goes up in sympathy with NVIDIA. It seems to parallel it. So today NVIDIA was up big. This was up bigger, 663. Just like I'm scared to sell any NVIDIA, I'm scared to sell this one. But it's great to buy it on dips. I'm looking for a dip to about 556. If that happens, I'm loading the boat with SMCI. I do see, like Kamal said, it the balloon is about to bust. We just don't know when. It could be a while before this balloon busts on NVIDIA. Just because we want it to, so you may want it to bust, doesn't mean it will, right?
Well, why would anybody want it to bust?
Well, people who missed the boat and want to get in.
They're jealous.
Well, yeah, and there's all this,
I only got one share left, so.
but it's also short sellers, Professor Spike.
Yeah, it's true. Short sellers want some
If
want some
Kamal
action
thinks
here.
if Kamal thinks it's a bubble about to burst, so do many shorts, and they've been burned as the bubble keeps getting bigger. So the trouble with a bubble is nobody knows when it's going to burst. So it could burst now. It could burst 100 points higher from now. SMCI. All I know is it's helped my portfolio a lot. Not as much as NVIDIA because I own more NVIDIA, but still, I'll take it. That was it. We covered most everything.
Curtis is asking for Elf. You might as well
Elf is a beauty products.
and then we can get going.
Cosmetics. Oh, they have a beautiful chart. You know, Centabulous. What's her other name? Vivacious Vixen, the one from Brooklyn, from Bensonhurst.
Right.
She loves this stock. She's been holding it for years. It's doing well. It's doing well, Vivacious Vixen, if you're listening.
Yeah, she hasn't chimed in a long time.
I talk to her on Twits occasionally. We keep in touch. She's from Brooklyn. Beautiful upward trend line. Yeah, this is one to like Vivacious Vixen says, you buy it and you hold it and you forget about it. It's been on a tear. I mean, is it a competitor to Estee Lauder? Not really, but if you look at the chart on Estee Lauder, it's the opposite looking.
Yeah.
So this is a good one. All right, so I think we did our duty for today.
Yeah, we when you look through, you'll see we owe some people some stuff, but we'll get it to them.
Kurt, what does Curtis want?
He just says it's similar. He said it's similar to Alta.
Okay.
Don't compare it against the chemistry.
And Dr. Chucky,
he said hello.
All right. And Curtis.
I hope IKT does well because I took the ride. I'm taking the ride with him.
Dr. Mika gave us the Pellus. Remember that one? Biotech?
Yes.
He gave it to us in the 30s, I think. It went up to 90, 80, 90. I don't know what it's trading at now, but that was a good one. Thank you, Doctor.
And Pete's looking for his entry into AMD.
Pete, you can buy it
right now.
No, just average in. Whenever you're buying these high flyers, average in. I believe in averaging in no matter what I buy, unless it's for a quick trade. Adios, amigos, and ciao. Good seeing everybody. Bye.
Bye all.
See you Thursday.